Love the little stuff. All right.
I want,
Oh, go
go ahead.
ahead.
Nope, go ahead.
I was going to say one question or one thought that I have, which is more about the process than
Yep.
it is what it is could we, has she trained ChatGPT to really mirror her voice so
Yep.
that it isn't so robotic and that it could do more of the heavy lift in terms of the draft, and then she can just do, the other.
Yep. I think that's what I was thinking as well. Like, well, getting support around I would like to see more support since she's identified that as the more challenging things. I'm in a even I'm in a writing group on Sundays, so like it's pretty easy to find, and she knows about Focus Mate. But like somebody who's been down this path, to take a little bit of time to connect with those people, including Mari Ruddy, who I'm sure would be happy to help. Um, so just getting more support on. I mean, I don't know. I got like a big vision of like aiming for a really awesome book, not like just this is a road to this other project, but like this is something that we want to all recommend and suggest, and just something
Yes.
about encouraging high standards, even if it takes longer or if it's yeah.
I like that because otherwise it becomes more of a journal than a
Yep.
book,
Yep.
right? And I think that it can start as a journal to get those authentic feelings out, but then needs to be truly turned into a book that inspires others to do their own transformation, right?
Yep. Yeah. And
With
I'm
with the values that she, talked about.
yeah. So what's it for? Seems like stepping stone to this process. Who's it for? I'd like, I'm kind of stepping in for charity here. Getting really clear of who is it people who will be going to this center, who will be funding this center, of course, and obviously the answer is going to be both. um, Others who are further, who will be helped along on the path toward the journey that you've been on, or is it, how, yeah, choose an audience, even if it's,
Absolutely.
yep.
And be broad with that audience. What's so interesting is a friend of mine the other day, we were talking about one of the fitness centers, and she said, "Oh, I want to go, but I want to go on Muslim night because the windows are blacked out and I don't have to worry about anybody seeing me."
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
So, like, I think there are lots of folks who want that more permanent,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
who are happy to also comply with any values and rituals and anything else that would happen that night
Yeah.
or what they need.
I'm looking over the list of the topics. Seems great. Um,
I love the me first that like stuck out to me.
uh-huh.
And what sticks out is, does it belong so close to the end, or is that
Mm-hmm.
really happening
Mm-hmm.
earlier in this place? And I don't know. I
Mm-hmm.
almost feel like you have to get to me first before you can shift,
Mm-hmm.
right? But
Mm-hmm.
obviously it's not my story. So that would be my question.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Um,
I'm intrigued by outnumbered and what that means.
mm-hmm. Yep.
And nuts.
Uh-huh.
Right. Those are
Yep.
real nuts. That means I'm insane nuts. What is nuts?
Mm-hmm. Type one. Um, when I think about for just having heard Michelle Obama this week, I'm thinking about her story and how powerful it was. And she didn't just tell her own story. She told the story of her family, and in some ways Trevor Noah's story as well. It's like when it gets to him, it's kind of boring. So like making sure this is a story you want to tell, because Filson has consistently told her grandmother's story, and to me it would be a loss if that isn't in there in some way.
Yeah.
Um, and even if it has to compete with your own story. And then people like me later are saying, yeah, Trevor's okay, but his mom is like the one. And maybe he should have just interviewed her. Anyway, yeah, get help, find people. Lots of people have been on this path.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Think about who your review committee is going to be
Yep.
afterwards.
Yeah. I would say, I'll just set up a meeting with Mari Ruddy as well, because she's happy to talk with you about the book process. And, it's that she did it in such a, well, you can also just follow her past blogs, but like she did it in she's the latest person I know who did it in a very public way. Like, here's been the process. It took her 10 years though. So you and your, your 6-month process. It's great. I think we're fully supportive of this plan. Do you think it's crazy to suggest some sort of videos that go with it, Joelle?
No, not at all.
Like, maybe you do some short 1-minute clips of you, how books now these days hyperlink to something, and it's like you telling the story from your heart, or I don't know, just consider someone who has a powerful storytelling voice. How does that interwoven with this format of books from a long time ago?
I love it. I would love to see some kind of PDF, if you will, some kind of journal-y type thing that people can write in their own stuff, right? And whether that is like consistent with each of the pillars or, goals or whatever the case is, would be neat.
Yep. Yeah, and maybe, just up front, you've written this out with ChatGPT, but also like just taking maybe a little more time up front of where are you going with this. All right, I think I feel complete.
Me too.
Welcome back, Filsun, whenever you're ready. We'll give you 2 minutes to say what was useful and 1 minute to say what you're committing to doing before next time.
Yes, thank you. I actually was thinking on the drive out here, I need a companion journal because there's so much stuff that I want people to do. I'm thinking about that. Outnumbered is when Mustafa came. So that shift. And then nuts is when we finally figured out why we didn't sleep and we're going crazy because he had nut allergies. So that's a play on that.
Yeah.
And then what the point is with those phases is really to kind of outline how those 3 pillars shift and then how it informed. And me first is in the end, because I never put myself first until I did the therapy and I did all the stuff and realized, oh yeah, I can put myself first. But I do think in that chapter, I will go back to where I started to put myself first, but I didn't realize I was from back in the chapter. So it's going to be like call back to previous chapters and back forward, and how I've always put myself first, but I didn't realize I was doing it. And you have to do it for the holistic view. And I think a lot of women don't know how to do that. So I feel like that's why it's towards the end, because it was an end realization. And then in the late night dinner, like me first was a theme. So I'm going to have probably the picture of something. I hopefully have that picture because I didn't take the picture. I'll look at the pictures you sent, Linda. But yeah, that's kind of the thought. Next actions is I was thinking about that review committee, and I've been starting doing resources because at first I was like, this is surface level. It's probably going to take longer. January is going to be just to get the full outline and then start going back and doing the research. I did ask ChatGPT, how do I make this more meaningful? It's like put more expand stories. So if you see the beginning, I'm telling the story of how I got my name. So it talks about my parents being refugees. So I'm going to go into each family member. So it's probably going to be more about them, but they shaped me, and then leave it with that future open-ended at the end. So I think I'm going to keep the schedule of just at least producing the raw format of each chapter on that schedule. But as I read things, having a resource link, and I have a process to keep up with the ideas because I have too many of them. Otherwise, I would go crazy. So I'm really excited. Next steps is probably get an idea of who that review committee is. I met a guy who knows AI and machine learning. So he actually trains it. So thinking how I can train ChatGPT, I like that idea. So that's probably what I'll do next, and then keep the schedule.
That's nice. I need him too, so you just send him my way after.
Take good notes, Wilson.
Exactly.
I will.
This is still more coaching, Filson, but like I'm not quite satisfied. Like, what if you were to have a writing mentor or somebody who you kind of look to for this expertise?
Oh, I'm gonna follow up with who you recommended for sure. I forgot
Okay.
to add that,
Yep.
and I'll look at what she has. I might not be able to do it maybe next because I think I'm gonna keep this as a main coaching priority. Like I haven't done that in the past, but this is so big. This is I will be probably having the same priority every
Got it.
every month,
Mhm.
and September's crazy, so I don't want to commit to finding someone
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no,
September.
yeah. I just wanted to plant the seed of like.
Definitely heard you loud and clear. And I'm not writing, so I'm gonna go back and listen to this and actually
Got
sit
it.
down and write because I'm walking right now.
Woohoo! Yay! All right. Well, I will stop the recording and